Welcome to This Girl Life podcast. We're your hosts, Whitney Kleiner and Kristen Cavan, best friends who understand the power of friendship, good conversations, and the realness of creating your best life. Each week, you can find us here, having real, raw, unfiltered conversations that you want to have with your best friends. It's everything you need to know to master this girl life. Let's get it started. Welcome to This Girl Life podcast. We're so excited you're here.
Hi guys, it's Whitney and Kristen, and we are so pumped to be together today.
We are in Scottsdale, Arizona. Kristen is in town for the Phoenix Open.
Which, guys, is a golf tournament, the biggest party on grass. If you don't know it, Google it.
Google it, and you won't find us there because we're not in our 20s anymore.
Yeah,
No.
I think Adam's going to go.
Good.
Which is good for guys. Like, guys go. Girls,
if you... We won't even get into it. How many girls in heels are walking around a golf course?
Yes.
Anyway, we are so excited to be together, and we're excited to have on Abby Tooker, the founder and CEO of Soul Honey Clothing. We've known Abby since she was in 4th grade. We were her basketball coaches at Scottsdale Christian Academy. Go Eagles.
Woo! Guys, we were really good basketball coaches.
We were, not to toot our own horn, but
toot toot.
Yeah, we were good. If
Real
you
good.
want us to coach your kids in basketball,
DM us.
we would consider it, right?
For a small fee.
Yeah.
I mean, I don't think I've picked up a basketball in probably like 10 to 12 years, but to like mess around. But I mean, I'm sure it just like comes back. It's like riding a bike.
I would take on LeBron.
You should.
I honestly would. I mean, I'm 6'1", you guys. I
Guys,
can take on LeBron.
could you imagine the live Insta stories that I could do with Whitney versus LeBron? Like, LeBron, if you're listening, hit us up.
Yeah, LeBron, you better be listening to This Girl Life podcast.
We would love to have you on. We would love to have Whitney go one-on-one with you.
You would be surprised, LeBron. Anyways, we were Abby's coaches, and she was incredible as a little basketball player, but she is now even more incredible as the founder and CEO of Soul Honey Clothing.
So the cool story that I really like about Abby is 3 days after she graduated high school, Abby moved to LA from Scottsdale to start working in fashion. And she is now the founder, the CEO, creator of Soul Honey Clothing. And the thing I really love about Soul Honey Clothing that like I connected with is her brand is focused on positivity.
I know, me too. Positively posy, man.
Right. She loves a good quote, which Whitney and I have a soft spot in our heart for a good quote, which we'll go into later.
Man.
But it's been 3 years since she created it, and she propelled her entire business through social media, through influencers, and guys, she's literally 23 years old.
She is. She's a badass.
She is an absolute badass, and I'm really excited to have her here. So without further ado, I hope you all welcome the founder, the CEO, and the badass businesswoman, Abby Tooker from Soul Honey Clothing.
Oh my gosh. Okay.
Stop clapping your hands.
I know, guys. I started clapping my hands.
Just hold my hand if you need
Yeah.
to.
All right. We are here with Abby Tooker of Soul Honey Clothing. We are already giggly, already starting to talk.
We're already best friends.
We are already best
which
friends.
is the whole point.
Even though we're like 10 years older.
That's okay.
Anyways, okay. Like I said, you guys, we knew Abby because we coached her when she was in 4th grade. She kind of remembers us, I think.
No, I do, for sure. Positive memories, for sure.
Yes. Okay, good. We're going to get right into it. And you said just last night on Instagram that you left high school 3 days after, right?
Yes.
And you went to LA.
Yes.
So tell us kind of a little bit of how you got started, that whole process. Yeah.
Yeah. So it's kind of crazy why I ended up moving to LA. I had a half day from high school senior year, and I was so into school, and I wanted to go to college and all this stuff. So I was getting my honors diploma, and I was so excited. But nobody knew except one of my friends that I was going to acting class as well. I was training with this woman that trained Emma Stone.
Oh,
And
cool.
yeah, it was like, not to like toot my own horn, but it was a big deal to get into it. No, but like this lady trained like 5 people. She's done like Garrett Hedlund, really big people, Amy Davidson, and she's local, and she used to be in LA. And so I went to acting class. And so long story short, I had decided I wasn't going to go to college. I was going to move out, and I wanted to do acting of some sort, film or something.
Yeah.
And so that's how I got out to LA. So I originally went out with the purpose of I'm going to be a superstar, which
I love it.
that was not going to happen. But, I was like, okay, I didn't know exactly the avenue I wanted to go in college. So, go out to LA. Never
Yeah.
been. Moved in with a woman that I had never even met. It was a mutual family friend. And
Okay.
so I just kind of showed up. My mom dropped me off and I
Oh
was
my
ready for
gosh.
acting classes.
Wow.
But very quickly, when I was in LA, it switched. Like, I was like, okay, this is cool, but the competition, the pressure on what I looked like, there's a room full of 100 yous and they're all better than you. And you're like, well, this is depressing. And it works for some people, but it just wasn't for me. And I very quickly realized, okay, there are other things I could do out here that I'm really good at that I want to kind of look into.
Yeah.
So I reached out to a really big fashion blogger and she said, it's crazy. You reached out. My assistant just left 5 days ago and let's
Can
meet
you
up.
tell us what blogger?
Yeah, her name's Damsel in Dior. So
Okay.
JC Dupree. She's
Mhm.
really well known in the
Yeah.
industry and she was awesome and I learned so much from her. She hired me. We went to coffee and she hired me on the spot. She said, I never hire anyone. My husband does it all. So this is so crazy. And so with that, I just learned marketing and the behind the scenes of social media.
Yeah.
I was really not even interested in that world at all.
Yeah.
And then I got another job. I worked for an author who was 87 years old.
Oh my
I
God.
worked in his penthouse right down the street from Rodeo Drive.
Wow.
He was really involved in like the Rat Pack and Frank Sinatra and Marilyn Monroe back in the day.
Oh my God.
And
how cool.
the craziest thing is so his wife had passed away and he was just I just adored him and he was dating Betsy Bloomingdale from Bloomingdale Stores.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so casual.
Yeah.
So I'm like, I'm not kidding. Like my days were working with JC in the morning and whatever it would be. I did a lot of not the fun work for her, but you learn like
you
whatever.
hustled. You worked your tush off.
It was
I
mean,
love it.
I didn't love every aspect, but then on the other side, I was answering phone calls for this older man, and it would be Lionel Richie on the phone. And
oh my God!
Yeah, no, it was crazy. No, it was crazy.
Hello.
So that's why I ended up staying. My parents were like, "Yeah, I know." I feel like I was half the time. I'm like, "Is this?" I like want to take his number, but I shouldn't because that would be awful. I'm not going to, but I kind of want to. What's up, Lionel? But yeah, so long story short, I did so many different jobs. You just make connections out there and one thing leads to another. And kind of 2 years later, that was what I ended up doing. Worked with some more bloggers and other things, but yeah.
So how did you get to the point of Soul Honey? Where did that transition from working for a blogger to like, I'm going to start my own thing?
So I was 18 when I moved out there, turned 19. I was about to turn 20 and LA was a hard place for me to be. I mean, I think you can imagine, like, especially in the industry, it's cutthroat. It's a lot of older people, a lot of, I don't know. It was
coming
just
from here. Hey,
I'm
I'm
here,
Scottsdale Christian Academy.
Like,
it's hard.
I've never been one that like, I'm pretty bold and I don't really care what other people think, which I think helps. And I'm me no matter what, but I still think I was like, oh my, this is like, I feel like I'm getting eaten alive. And it was kind of this thing of, okay, who do I want to be? I'm turning 20. What do I want to do? Do I want to work for someone else forever? No.
Right.
Do I want to, be living in this incredible city, but also full of people that are kind of, I don't know, lonely and sad and all looking for something. And I remember like it was yesterday, I was looking over Rodeo Drive in the penthouse and this glamorous office with this wonderful man in the room next door who's this old guy that became like a grandpa to me that I never had, truly. And like horns are blazing down and I'm like, people are yelling at each other and we're in the richest part of like in the world almost.
Really?
And I'm just like, this is so not me. Like not LA, but like I just think there just needed to be like a boost of positivity in the world. And I'm just like, it was almost, it didn't make me depressed, but almost.
Yeah.
I mean, you know what I mean?
We're like, we're like, it's so entranced with you.
Right
I'm
now.
like, tell me everything.
But I was so young and you're like, okay, I'm not going to college. This is what I've decided. My parents were like, you do you work your butt off and we're going to support you. And they saw that. But I was like, okay, I just didn't like what I was doing. So this is what happened. I had nothing to do at work that day. I was on Pinterest and I remember I was just scrolling. I think honestly, it was like 2 hours in. I'm just like listening to music. I'm like, I have nothing to do. And I just kept looking at quotes. I'm like, I agree with this. I agree with this. This connects. And I'm like crying to myself alone. Well, not really. I'm exaggerating, but like, oh my goodness, why are we not doing small things with great love? Why are we not practicing kindness every day? And why are we not choosing happiness even when life sometimes really is not the greatest?
Yeah.
And I went home that day and so with JC, I had seen her work with all these different brands and, you know, they send her free shirts and she gets all these t-shirts all the time. And living in like LA and being involved in Malibu, there's just t-shirts everywhere. Like that say coffee and lattes or take me to the beach, which is fine.
Yeah.
But I was like, okay, for every shirt that I see like that says I can't adult today. I'm like, well, what if it said like something that's like lighthearted and positive, but also, I don't know, that you're like, you read it and you're like, wait, that's actually so true. Yeah. So I called my mom. I lived right near the Lockmouth Museum, and I remember I was at a stoplight, and she was at my brother's baseball game, and I said, I have this great idea. I'm going to start a t-shirt company. It's going to be all about quotes, because I think what a quote stands for is that our words have power and they have weight, and the way we speak to another person matters. Yeah. So we need to be more cognizant of that when we speak to another person, which I think is just true in life in general.
So true. Absolutely.
And like, wow, the power of our words, like it's so fleeting, and we live in a generation that always says actions speak louder than words. And yeah, that's true. But I think that often undermines the power of our words.
Absolutely. Yes.
And I just think of things like, there are things people have said to me that I do or do not do things in my life because of it. And I don't know. So I called her and I said, this is my idea. I'm going to do it. She was like, oh gosh, my daughter wanted to be an actress and now but honestly, she was like, yeah, that's actually kind of good, Abby. And she's like, okay, well, Matthew's pitch and you got to go. I'm like, no, I'm going to work on this. Yeah. Go home, talk to my dad. And he's like, honey, you do what you're going to do. I don't know why. I still don't know why. I'm like, why would you allow your 19, almost 20-year-old to come back home, failed actress,
so you came home. So by then you were
I got
home.
the idea.
Okay.
Honestly, for me, I think I wanted to get out of LA too.
Yeah.
I will see I actually am considering going back there one day, like this year maybe. Yeah. But I think it'd be very different. Mm-hmm. I was so young. And so it was kind of like, okay, what can I do that I was kind of doing in LA? Mm-hmm. Got the idea and I'm like, I'm going to make this happen.
Get it, girl.
That is how it's just, it was honestly, it was just weird. It just like happened one day and I was like, okay.
Yeah. Well, you're talking to two girls who absolutely love quotes. Like, I literally have quote notes on my phone. I have a quote book that I still literally have. Yeah. And ours stemmed because you're gonna laugh from One Tree Hill. But if you've never seen it or seen it,
are you kidding? Yes,
it's all about quotes. Like
Chad Sawyer, I want to name a kid Sawyer.
Right,
I love it.
Yes.
Thank you. We are
Chad Michael Murray.
Oh, I can't with him.
I can't.
No.
Yeah. And that's absolutely like where our inspiration came from. And like, so I think that's why when Whitney was like, hey, you got to look up Abby. That's why I felt like so connected to you instantly. I'm like, she loves quotes. She loves everything about it. I just think it's like, so in the spirit of quotes, what is your all-time favorite quote of all the quotes? If you had to pick one.
I get asked this and I'm going to cheat. I'm going to say a few.
Okay.
I'm going to say first, I love Abraham Lincoln, whatever you are, be a good one. Okay, I think because I just think it's all encompassing for everybody.
It is. Yeah.
One of the first ones I ever remember finding was Vincent Van Gogh. What is done, love is done well. I just think, I don't know. I think he's cool and I love it. But my favorite for sure, is Do Small Things with Great Love, Mother Teresa. I love the quote, but also the story behind it from me on how I got rights to it. It was the first quote I ever got permission to use.
How cool.
So I don't know if you guys know, I have to get permission from it's intellectual property. So every person I quote, unless it's like from the 1800s.
This lawyer knows.
So, I know you're a lawyer.
Yeah.
Awesome.
She's a lawyer.
Yeah. So it was, I remember I was 19. My dad hopped on the phone as my lawyer because he's a lawyer, but he's like, yes, this isn't my daughter. And then very quickly we're like, okay, this guy's cool. He's like, yeah, this is actually my daughter. And he was so kind. He was getting money from me and yet was like teaching me how to do it, like MFN and the percentages that you get and breaking it down and that I just think was probably one of my favorite memories. So that quote just has a special place in my heart for sure. Yeah.
It's funny. Cool. So my favorite quote is actually from One Tree Hill.
Gosh.
Here we go. Well, and it's not. It's wheresoever you go, go with all your heart, which was my original blog title. Mm-hmm. So I started a blog when I was a senior in college as my thesis, which is so like embarrassing. And then it's transitioned.
That's awesome.
But it was originally called Wheresoever You Go, Go with All Your Heart. That was the name of the blog. And I think that's still to this day. Yeah. It's like led me through life and through motherhood and like I think that's
it's true. Leading with love is never something that you can go wrong with.
Right.
Like
it might lead you in the wrong semi.
Yeah,
like,
true.
Like you might need to readjust, and I think
Been
that's what I've
there.
learned. I
Done
was like,
that.
yeah, like 31, I've definitely learned
Yeah.
like that changes, but yeah, I don't know.
Yeah.
So
No, I love that. Yeah, do you have one?
I honestly, one thing with Soul Honey is the way you view social media. And maybe it's because you started
Mhm.
like, being an assistant for a big blogger, but how social media has really helped grow your company
Yeah.
and propelled you.
Yeah.
And I don't know, you've used them in the right way. So what kind of, did you see like Instagram and did you see that right away and you're like,
Yeah.
I have to jump on this?
Yeah. So in kind of my pitch to my parents, I'm like,
Yeah.
okay, I'm an expert at this. And I wasn't at all.
Yeah.
But kind of at the same time, I almost kind of was. I picked up very quickly. I was like, okay, what did I learn with JC? People, and Instagram has changed, as we know, the
Sure.
algorithms recently. But I would say for the first 2 years, how I sold, I didn't do online ads. I honestly, I'm so dumb, you guys. I was like this young girl starting a company. Like, imagine, I really was 19. Like, yes,
Yeah.
I did have experience-ish, but I was like, I'm just going to pay thousands of dollars to these people.
Yeah.
Like I saw JC, I'm going to have them post and I'm going to sell shirts. And that worked for 2 years.
That's
I didn't even know
incredible.
what a marketing team was. I didn't
Uh-huh.
even know what retargeting was, truly.
Yeah.
And so I would pay influencers and then I would gain followers. And then obviously the more and more followers you gain,
Right.
the more and
Yeah.
more orders. And then you don't have to do that as much. And then people want free shirts and just post for free.
Right.
And so, yeah, that was right out of the gate. The first thing I did was start contacting people. I mean,
It's-
I was sending emails all day long and
Yeah,
saying,
amazing.
I'm and I kind of led with, I'm this young girl, and people kind of took pity on me, to be
Yeah,
honest.
I'm sure though. That's awesome.
Yeah, they really did. But so right away, that was definitely one of the main things I did.
And so, I mean, how did you eventually get, I mean, you have some big people behind your
Yeah.
brand, like, again, the Duck Dynasty clan. And
Yeah.
I know, oh my gosh,
Some of like a lot of the
Kate
Bachelor
Nell,
girls.
Yeah. Big
Nice.
bloggers. So how did
What
you?
Bachelor girls do you have?
Oh
Yeah.
gosh, like Amanda Stanton has one, Becca
Ooh.
Tilly,
Oh, Becca.
the
Becca.
twins.
Oh, yeah,
Let's be
Haley.
friends. I'm so bad with
Friends.
names.
The Ferguson twins.
Yes.
The Ferguson twins. Gosh, there's just
Good
been,
for
I've
you.
worked with a lot of the
Yeah.
Bachelor girls.
So how, like, I mean, did that happen just over time or did you reach out to
Um,
them?
I mean, again, I'm
Yeah.
like 20 at this time, like thinking people are going to give me the time of day, and some of them did, and some of them didn't. I mean, if you're going to upfront the money, people are going to do anything for you.
Yeah,
Do you know?
that's
And
true.
think about, okay, this was 2 or 3 years ago. There were a lot of bloggers then, but I mean, it's just getting
It's-
more and more
yeah.
and more.
Yes.
And so, people are like, sure, I want $1.
Yeah,
I'll
right.
post in a cute shirt.
Yeah.
So, but like the Duck Dynasty, okay, that was one of the coolest things that happened. It was about a year in. And what happened was that was just sending a DM, literally.
Wow.
So I sent Bella, I sent Mary Kate, I
Mhm.
sent them all. And then Bella responded, she posted,
Wow.
and Mary Kate's sister Kelly. And what ended up happening was they went on this family vacation
Mhm.
and I think it was, I don't know, they do it every year. And I remember I saw a photo and 3 or something of the 6 girls had my shirts on.
Oh my god.
And Mary Kate, and it was like Mary Kate and Sadie, and then
Oh my
all the
gosh.
younger ones, and they didn't have them on, but then there was the younger ones. And then I think what happened was Mary Kate's like, well, I want shirts,
Yeah.
or I don't know.
Yeah.
And then she checked her DM and said, well, so sorry I didn't see this. And then she messaged me,
Oh,
and then what ended
wow.
up happening was they all kind of wanted product.
Yeah.
And then I just sent another DM, and I said to Bella, could we ever do a photo shoot for my fall line? She
Yeah.
was like, yes.
Wow.
And so she gave me her
Abby.
mom's personal email.
Oh my god.
It's just the type of thing I always tell people. It's like, if the person doesn't respond to your email, that DM, who cares?
Right.
Like,
Absolutely.
if you're going to be an entrepreneur and you're so sensitive that someone's not going to reply, I would be like in therapy
right.
all day, every day. Like,
So can I be
Good
honest about
tip.
that? So
Yeah.
that is hard for me.
yeah.
So like
yeah, no, it is.
been a blogger, influencer, I get embarrassed by that. Like
That people don't reply.
yeah. And then
Really?
it was
Wow.
really when Whit and I started the podcast that it
Yeah.
was like, shoot, we just got to reach out.
Yeah.
Like
No,
I
you
don't
do.
care.
See,
I'll
I
send-
don't care.
See,
I'm like,
and I'm
That's like
learning
me.
that. Yeah.
I'm
Like,
Well, and I'm like, I understand.
yeah.
I'm not even that big of a company, whatever. And the requests I get are insane.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm
From
sure.
friends of friends of friends or DMs. And it's like, you can't fulfill everything. You have to
Right.
pick and choose.
Yeah.
Sure.
But it was crazy. She gave me her mom's email.
That is so
then my
cool.
mom and I flew out. We were there for a few days. We stayed in their guest house, which is not a guest house. It's
Aw.
a
A mansion.
mansion.
Yeah.
Literally.
They-
Huge.
Yeah.
Like there's animals. I'm like, what is going on? And then I became friends with them. And then like they
Aw.
come out here and I've seen them for tours and the
How
mom, I have all their
cool.
cell phone. They'll text me, want tickets. Like
They're
they're
they seem so
incredible.
sweet.
Yeah, they
Truly.
seem like a
I
great
mean, the
family.
first night we were there, Bella texted me and said, come over for burgers. So we just pull up to their house. I mean, it's like, I was like, what is happening? It was, and then, you know, the dad, Mr. Robertson is literally cooking burgers and we're at their table with all these people. And all of a sudden I'm like,
This is my life.
What is life?
Yeah,
Honestly,
you're
it's
looking
so cool.
back. And what was that? 2 years in?
1 year.
1 year.
Wow.
It was before my 1 year anniversary. I was there in August. I'm like, what? Like literally freaking out inside, but having to be like this professional. It was, but
It's
I mean,
really
so
cool.
that one thing leads to another.
Yeah,
And it's
absolutely.
just, you're going to get rejected 10 times, but for every 10 times you get rejected, I'm like, whatever, you get one really cool thing. So
Yeah.
I'm like, whatever.
And
That's kind of
I
my
think that's cool.
mentality. Yeah.
So that propelled you. Would say that's kind of your big
I
thing.
would say, yeah, I was talking to my dad one of the other day, a few days ago, and we were talking about just sales. And I said, I remember like it was yesterday, the month that we launched Duck Dynasty, and it was the biggest month I'd ever had in sales. And I just was
wow.
like, Dad, this is amazing. I was like, I'm going to be able to pay everything off. You can quit your job. Like truly, I thought I went out and bought the fanciest car for myself. It was the dumbest decision I've ever made, but I was like, this is wonderful.
Yeah.
And now it's amazing how things go because you just have to look at perspective everything and go,
Mhm.
wow, what I thought was so big then is now one of my worst months, but that's
Yeah.
amazing. And so, yeah, that was a huge thing that really gave me the leap forward. And then I think people kind of gave me the time of day after that,
Yeah.
absolutely.
which I understand. It's
Yeah.
like, you got to get one thing and then you're like, okay.
That's really cool.
So would that be your one piece of advice for female entrepreneurs? Like what would that one piece?
Yeah.
Because that was a great
Um,
tip right there.
yeah.
But
You mean just
For every
send
10
the
you
DM?
get, yeah,
It's just
Yeah.
like,
send a
don't, like,
DM.
stop
Put
carrying
that
so
on a
much-
shirt.
Send
You
it-
can quote me. I'm giving
Okay.
you the right.
Do you want
note.
5%?
Yeah, please. Send the DM.
You'll get the check in the mail. You know, one thing that I think is really important that I tell everyone is, and this is not my advice, this is advice I've been given, and really, I'm a crazy reader. Like, I love reading just books from people who have started companies, even if I'm like, this is an awful company. I want to learn how you built this.
Yeah.
Is lead with your story. And by that, I mean, you're starting a jewelry company, you're starting a t-shirt company, a shoe company. Why is someone going to come buy from you as opposed to the 100 other people that have been in it for 5, 10, whatever years?
Yeah.
And so by that, like, what differentiates you? And so I look at brands like Tom's or the Giving Keys, and those I kind of look at as similar to Soul Honey because it's all about goodness. But yeah, it's just a key with a word stamped on it for the Giving Keys at the end of the day. But what I think is so incredible that Caitlin has done is it's her mission, it's her story, and it's what they're doing at the company. And that's what I've learned is, okay, yeah, I'm selling shirts with good words, and that's cute and that's great. But it's the two things we stand for that people go, that is so cool.
Yeah.
And that makes them come back.
Yeah.
And like Tom's, they give back the Giving Keys, they employ
Yeah.
inner city youth, and it's all about paying it forward, giving your key to someone else who needs it more than you.
Yeah.
Like, it's not, I don't know.
It's like
It's so
it's
much
like
more
a-
than the product. That's what I
Yes,
say. You're
absolutely.
selling, and this is what my marketing team always says, is you're selling the story.
Yeah.
And for me, the t-shirts and the hats are the vehicle in which I spread my positive message. That is
Absolutely.
my message that I want
It's
to
awesome.
spread. So
I
that's
love
what I
it.
think is, find what differentiates you, find your story, and you drive that car full speed, because that's
Yeah.
what's going to make your story is unique, and that's what's going to stand you apart, rather than just, there's so many copiers and mimickers, and it's
Right,
like,
absolutely.
you can be similar, but like, find that thing that make people go, oh, I haven't seen that before.
Yeah.
And I really like that.
I think the thing that's cool about you is you have this whole, positivity is your
Uh-huh.
big message, but I think authenticity is also where it's at.
Yeah, totally.
And
totally.
like you're bringing up Giving Keys and Tom's, and like I think one reason for me that I love the Giving Keys is
Mhm.
they're authentic, and you can see
Totally.
it in their story, you can see it in their brand, and
Yeah.
how they brand themselves on Instagram, how they brand themselves on their website, and I think you do an awesome job of that too.
Yeah, thank
like,
you. But
I knew you when you were 10, but like I feel like I know you through your brand,
yeah,
You
I
know,
know,
like-
I really appreciate that. That's
and it's super
no, it's-
authentic
There's
to
something
me.
to that.
Like I don't look at your shirts and I'm like, oh, that's a cute, like
yeah,
kitschy phrase. Like
yeah.
Yeah.
it resonates because it
Like,
comes from
has
you.
heart.
Yeah,
Like, I
it
don't
does.
know.
It
No, no,
does.
no. It's I don't know.
Yeah,
I don't
it's
know how to explain
authentic.
It, but
No,
it
I
does.
mean,
And it's yeah. I think
I
that's
think
what's
though
cool.
you feel like this is, I think things have heart because it does have heart.
Right.
Like, if you knew, like, I'm 23 and I think people see this outward thing and all these great people I get to work with and how do you going to meet these things and all these opportunities? And I go, yeah, but you don't see me grinding
Right.
and grinding. And I have sacrificed a ton. I mean,
Right.
I didn't go to college. I didn't do that fun, whatever, which
Right.
that's not me to regardless, but like,
Yeah.
do you know what I mean? Like
Absolutely.
there's heart in something because there
There
really
was heart.
is.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely.
so I think, I don't know, but yeah, I don't know. I just think
You're plugging away.
Yeah. And I think that's great.
at the end of the day, it's gonna pay off, even
Yeah.
though you didn't get to do those
I know.
things.
Like,
And I think the
whatever.
reason
I was the same way. I was the same way though.
But I think the reason you get people that are like, how do you get to do these cool things?
Yeah.
It's because at the end of the day, they want to be doing it.
yes.
And,
okay,
like-
so funny you said that is I always say, and this is so my marketing team are like God sent to me. Like I always tell them, and I've only been with them, I don't even think it's been 6 months. So I just became public on Instagram, my personal.
Mhm.
And it's crazy because I hid from that and hid from that and hid from that because I just was like, I don't want this to be about me. This seems like narcissistic. I just want the brand and I want to be Abby Tooker alone.
Mhm.
But it's like what Abby Tooker is the brand. And my story is
Yes.
So Honey's story. And when you watch the trends of these social media companies, like a Jordan Lee Dooley, she doesn't need to do $1 of marketing
Mhm.
because people are so inspired by her and what it is
Yes.
that they go, we want to get behind this.
Yes.
I want to be like Jordan.
Yeah.
And it's inspirational and aspirational. It's what my
Yeah.
marketing team always says. And I don't know.
Yeah.
Wait,
Yeah.
what did you say? I
I'm
totally, there
also-
was something I was to
I
that.
think it's for me, like I'm 31 and I'm just now kind of diving
Oh,
into
yeah,
what
yeah.
I want to
Yeah.
do. Like I
Yeah.
did the school thing, went to Pepperdine, went to law school, grinded it out in
Yeah.
school. And I'm 31 and I'm not doing anything I went to school for.
That's so many people.
You know,
Now,
like
it's-
that's crazy.
It's so hard because I value education
Mm-hmm.
so much. I really do. Like my parents are still like, are you ever going to go? I think, but not because they think I'm going to fail or whatever, because they know I could always do marketing or whatever at the
Yeah.
end of the day. But so
There's value behind
there's
it.
value behind it
Absolutely.
for a lot of people. But yeah, no, I know.
Yeah, and
There's
it's
not
yeah.
a need though. I think I just was having this conversation with my dad about, at least here in America, we really place so much value
Yeah.
on going to college when not everyone's meant for it. Not
Yeah.
everyone needs to do it. Like my husband went straight and he'll
Yeah.
hate it, but he went straight out of high school into the military and
No,
he's getting his
well,
degree
oh my
right
goodness,
now.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Oh,
Thank
well,
you
yeah.
for his,
Oh,
thank
God.
you and thank you for his service.
Yeah.
No, but like there are other purpose. You know, there's more than just
Right.
college. Like
But I
just-
also think too, it's like
Yeah.
look at the trend of countries all over the world. Their kids take gap years.
Yes.
Right.
They figure themselves out. And that's
Right.
what to me, my gap year was LA.
Yeah.
Yes.
I found out who I
Yeah.
was.
Yeah.
I mean, y'all, it was like living there. I traveled a ton. Like I
Yeah.
met one of my best friends, Heather.
It's amazing.
They're
Yeah,
like
it's
her,
very cool.
the people, like
Yeah.
it was just crazy. But I think it's like people go to college and then figure it out. And it's like,
Yes.
Right.
why are we spending all this money to do?
And that's exactly what I did.
Yeah.
You
yeah,
know, like
which
it's
it's
hard
hard,
because like now
yeah.
my husband, like we have a kid and I'm married and like my husband's like,
Mhm.
so what do you want to do now? And I'm like,
you're like,
well,
oh,
I'm 31. Like,
totally.
do I
Yeah.
have time now
Yeah.
to like start a podcast with my best friend? Like,
Yeah.
we're fine. And I think
Yeah.
Whitney, same thing, like went to nursing school, went to, undergrad
Yeah.
nursing school, now is in NP school. And it's like, we're
You are?
just now,
I'm a nurse practitioner.
Yeah.
So yeah. I'm still in school,
Ooh.
girl.
Right.
It's like
like, we're just now
That's
finding
awesome.
like, this is our
Wow.
passion project,
That's
you know?
what
like,
if my mom
yeah.
could have chosen, that would have been it.
really.
Oh, Abby, you can have 9 children and fall back on this and work 2 days a week. Okay. Like, I think she sees how much I work and she's like, oh.
Yeah. But you know what? Honestly, like, and I love being a nurse but I don't feel fulfilled.
Really?
No, I don't feel fulfilled. And
Okay.
and that's why finding this with Kristen, like
Yeah.
there's other avenues or something missing for me.
Mhm.
And I am not that typical. You're going to see me like in a doctor's office. There's more to it than that for me. And
Yeah.
and that's kind of talking to people, sharing, getting deep and interviewing people and getting to the nitty-gritty of health and wellness. Like Kristen was like, I don't want this podcast just to be about health and wellness. And it won't be, but I want
Yeah.
people to learn and grow and
Yeah.
know that health isn't
Yeah.
just going down the street to your
Yeah.
general practitioner and being like, hey, give me a Z-Pack.
No, it's mind, body, and
Like,
soul.
Yes.
Yeah.
And that is like your company definitely gives that positivity that helps boost your soul in a different way, you
Right.
know?
Totally.
That's
That's something that it's so weird. I always say it's like changed my life. And because when I'm wearing a shirt that says wherever you are, be all there, if I'm on my phone with my family at dinner all day, like I'm such a hypocrite.
yeah.
And so in a weird way, I hope that that does it for the customers. I want
Yes,
it to, okay, a quote is our words have power and they can be remembered. So use your words wisely. But second, I want the words to also influence you that that day you go, okay, you know, is it kind people are my kind of people? And someone cuts me off, am I going to give them the bird or am I going to be like, okay, I don't know what they're going through.
Right.
But just take a deep breath.
Right.
It's just little things. And so it's like, it's like, I don't know.
And that brings
Soul
us to
and
like
everything.
the next question, because you obviously, we said we went to Scottsdale Christian Academy and there is a religious aspect to your company. And has there been pushback in a sense? Because you do a nice job, I think.
Of not pushing it down people's throats, but also not hiding from it.
Yeah. So in my opinion, and you guys can disagree, but I'll tell you why. I actually don't consider Soul Honey a Christian company at all. And here's the reason why. Is if you look at the people I quote, I've quoted Buddha. Right. I've quoted many, many atheists. I've quoted monks to priests to theologians to artists, everything. No matter your sex, your race, your religion, your political views, I don't care. What I care about is if you lived a life that was for other people, that was for something greater than yourselves, that you wanted to leave this world better. And that doesn't mean you have to be seen by the masses. I think with this social media age, it's like, I have to have 100,000 followers and everyone has to know who I am. No, be known in your community as the friend that you can pick up the phone or whatever. And so that's why when I was going through quotes, I was like, okay, this is so cool that there's this common theme, no matter who these people were or what they believed, like I said, of like love and kindness and dreams and goodness. And is the name Soul Honey, does it derive from a verse? Yes. But other than that, it's like in and out on the, I don't even know if you know this, on the bottom of a cup or like a Hobby Lobby or Chick-fil-A are very outspoken. I'm outspoken myself because my faith is the biggest part of me. And so obviously if it's changed my life, then it's going to be reflected in my company. And I hope that that aligns, but I have never felt, and maybe it's people just aren't outspoken about it, I don't know, but I've never felt pushback for, oh, you quoted a Christian.
Right. Well, I think that's awesome that you haven't had any pushback.
No, I haven't. But then I go, okay, well, I quote Buddha.
Right. And that balances it.
So I'm like,
but I think
I don't agree with Buddha always, but I agree with when he says when words are both true and kind, they can change the world. I'm like, you go, Buddha.
Yeah. So I think your undertone is what creates that platform so that people aren't going to push back. You are looking at people who led a good life, who have a common meaning, I guess. Like they're trying to push kindness and goodness and love. And
a
that
lot
comes
of times
from a lot of people. Even if you disagree on other things.
Even
or,
if it's from Buddha or or Jesus or whatever. You're looking just for kindness, love.
Yeah.
You know,
well, and that's the thing is, gosh, it sounds so like cliche, but kind of like all inclusive. Like, I don't care who you are, what you look like, what your job is, what you think about my president or not, whether you think he's awesome or you hate him. And I think it goes, since when do we live in an age where if you disagree with someone, you hate them?
Oh dear, let's preach. Like, what is up
But
with
that's
that?
like, so that's why I think it's the whole thing about, is the company Christian? I would say absolutely not. I'm not going to hide where my influences come from, but I've never ever felt pushback.
Good.
But maybe people just don't buy. And if they don't, then I almost wish I could talk to them and say, girlfriend, like, I don't care what you believe. Like, actually I care because I care about your soul.
Right.
But I don't know. You know what I mean?
It's not going to influence if I like you or not.
Oh, I'm going to love you even more.
Right.
Yes.
Because I'm going to love you like Jesus did.
Yeah,
but,
exactly.
But I don't know.
I have a question about, so you're a female. We know
Obviously.
that.
Yes, I am.
You're a female entrepreneur. And is it harder? Like, you're a young female. You're not like a 50-year-old who's run a company and now you're like deciding to start.
Yeah.
You were 19 and you kind of talked about like, you think people took pity on you.
Yeah.
Have you seen, like, have you had to fight like I'm a young woman in business. Like,
Yeah.
did you have to did you find yourself fighting harder, fighting different, or was it not? I mean,
Okay, so I would say, first of all, I think I had to change the way in which I interacted with people, which I kind of don't like. I am a people pleaser. I want everyone to be happy. I want to say yes to everything. And if my print house, which is run by very successful men, mess up on a huge batch, I have to have the guts and the courage and the gusto to go in there and go, it's okay. People make mistakes, but you're going to pay to replace this. And that's not my personality.
Yeah.
So I've had to work very versely. Now, I've been very, very fortunate that the majority of men are super respectful, if not even super encouraging. Like I look at my marketing
awesome.
team and I go, it's these CEOs that have worked with these companies, I mean, that are crazy, like huge companies. And I'm like, why are you even working with me? I always tell them, I'm like, what is happening? And they're my biggest cheerleaders. They're the ones that are like, but yeah, no, I mean, early on, like earlier last year, I'm going to share this probably more in depth on Soul Honey sometime, like on a post or something, but I lost almost all of my money early last year. And it was, I've been changing the way of manufacturing. So I'm doing everything custom in LA. And that was a huge goal. And I worked 8 months, not exaggerating. I would fly out to LA every other I just fly out for the day for meetings and meetings with I mean, you guys, it's like going to college for a year and failing your final exam.
Yeah.
So what ended up happening was the guy that did everything sent everything to me. It was all wrong. Took all the money. We tried to do legal stuff.
Yeah.
He wasn't even worth anything. And so, I mean, so that was, I was this young, naive girl that had never done this before. I trusted someone. But I'm just a big believer in taking responsibility for things. Like, I just don't like putting blame. I feel like we live in a culture that everyone wants to blame other people for things.
Yes.
And unfortunately, I think a lot of times women are looked down upon, but I'm also going to take every action so that you want to respect me so much that you go, oh my gosh.
Yeah.
You know, I want to work with her. I don't want to take advantage of her.
Right. Yeah.
So I think there's been a few situations, another marketing team that is shady stuff. But you know that I go, okay, see ya. And I'm never going to look back.
Right.
So yes,
it's about
and no.
being a woman, but also being like, regardless of my gender, like I'm a badass and you want to work with me because
100%.
I'm a badass.
Yeah.
Like
totally. So
regardless of the fact that I'm just a female, work with me because I'm awesome. I deserve to be worked with. I deserve to be taken treated with respect. And
but I think that's just a human thing. Like this is what I always say to my parents is I'm like, that's not, I'm a male, I'm a female thing. That's just, you respect people.
Right.
You
and
just
don't you wish
it
was that simple?
No, I know, but that's why I love it. And I just don't, the whole topic of all this.
Yeah.
It's just hard because on one chance I'm like, I'm a woman, pay us equally, treat us with respect. And the other hand, I go, that should not even just be woman, that should be race. Everything. Right. So that's why it's like this fine balance. But
it is. Absolutely.
So,
okay, so one thing we talked about at the very beginning, but like our whole goal in this podcast is like we're best friends.
Yeah.
And like we want women on here that like our listeners want to be best friends with you. And like if you don't already, guys,
I know.
we already are. So
I mean, you're amazing. You really are.
No, you're so sweet.
What is the best tip, the best piece of advice, the best information you've gotten from a best friend?
Okay, so
and it doesn't have to be about Soul Honey. It could be just about life or anything.
When I saw this question, I was like, okay, I have so many wonderful friends and I get so much advice. And like, the normal, like, I feel like I really have friends that say the main two things to me, which is, first of all, you are enough. Like your story is enough. You don't need to change who you are. And everyone should hear that always.
Yes.
And also just do it. Like kind of like have the courage. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But last night I was talking with one of my best friends, Heather, and I met her when I was in LA. She was going to be an actress. She's going to be the next Gigi Hadid. She seriously is. She lives her life is Gossip Girl, you guys. She lives in this penthouse in LA. She's the most gorgeous, but no, I'm not even kidding. Her life, I just she's traveled the whole world. They've never lived anywhere. Like, so when she gives me advice, I'm like, okay, I'm ready. And she's younger than me, but so wise. And we were just talking about how people don't do things because it takes so long to accomplish it. Yeah. And I'm like, and I just don't get that in life. I'm like, that time is ticking regardless. Sitting right here, the time is going by. So if I'm not starting today, okay, maybe I'm starting tomorrow, but why? Like, so many people say, oh, how'd you do it? And I'm like, I stayed up till 3 a.m. and I worked my butt off.
Right.
So it's like, whether it's a friendship you want to mend, whether it's a job you're wanting to work towards, whether you want to get healthier, whatever it is, start now.
Yes.
And that doesn't mean you have to be successful tomorrow.
Right.
Yeah.
That doesn't mean you're going to be successful in a year. You're going to fail.
Right.
But seize the time that you're given, because you don't know how much time you have, and the time's ticking. So go.
Exactly.
And that's what she was telling me. And I was like, Heather, you know what?
That's a
Yes.
great
Serena.
Great. Yeah.
She's like my Serena.
BNS.
No, she really
S&B.
is. She's great. But yeah. I told her, I was like, I'm on this podcast tomorrow. And she's like, ooh. I was like, I love that advice. Thank you.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah.
Okay, so tell us where everyone can find you.
Uh-huh.
I mean, give us the scoop, your personal, Soul Honey.
Yeah.
I mean, people want to be besties with you. I can already tell you that.
Oh, yeah.
I want to be besties with other people. So this is great. So Soul Honeys is just Soul Honey Clothing. Instagram, Soul, everyone always asks, SOUL, like
Soul.
I've got some soul. And then the website is soulhoneyclothing.com. And my personal is just Abby Tooker, TOOKER.
And don't worry, guys, we'll link all of her stuff on our Instagram, on the description of iTunes, SoundCloud, everywhere, so you can stalk her. I mean, follow her and find her.
I like stalking too. I do that. We're good.
Everyone does a good stalk every once in a while. So thank you, Abby, for coming on.
Thanks for having me.
Wait, guys, before you leave, we want to hear what you thought about this episode. So leave us a review on iTunes. You know your girls love a good 5-star review. Also, don't forget to subscribe to This Girl Life Extras newsletter. We're so freaking excited to have you guys as virtual besties, and each week we're going to send you a little extra content from the two of us. Tips, positive mantras, giveaways, extra interviews, must-have books, music, and a sneak peek at upcoming episodes. If you don't want to miss out, head to the link in our bio on Instagram to sign up. And finally, Abby was so sweet to give our listeners a 20% off discount code to Soul Honey Clothing. Use the discount code TGL20 within the next 2 weeks to get 20% off your order. We'll see you next time.